The next time somebody tells you, hey, go fly a kite, well, a good place to do that is at the annual Kite Festival in Bentonville. Kites have come a long way. Radical, man, radical.
I got into kiting by going to air shows as a kid. I used to go to a lot of air shows to see the Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels, and then the Blue Angels and Thunderbirds stopped coming to my town. It wasn't a big enough town to host an air show anymore, so I kind of transitioned into watching hot air balloons, and every once in a while there'd be kite flyers at the hot air balloon rally, and I always thought it was neat to see them do their tricks. And I recently moved to Tulsa, and I met the Tulsa Wind Riders Kite Club, and I was really intrigued by the kites that they had and the things that they had done with their kites. And I got onto these two-line stunt kites, and they really grasped my attention. It's an exciting hobby to have. It really keeps you exercising throughout the week rather than sitting around doing nothing. And I just fell in love with it instantly. This kite in particular is a custom kite. This skin, it's called, is made of ripstop nylon. These are called spreaders, and the one in the wing is going to be called a spar. It's pretty rare. A kite like this would run you anywhere from $100 to $300 maybe. I have probably 7 of these kites in different sizes and shapes, and this one is real nice. It just depends on what you're looking for in your kite, but I really love it. It's a great time and a great hobby, and obviously a great atmosphere too.
So tell us the trick of that noise, getting that going.
The trick of the noise, well, I'm going to tilt the kite this way. When you look at it from this angle, you have these uprights. There's one here and one here. And what this does is it causes the fabric to be off this center spar here. There's another one out here at the edge on each edge, and that keeps the fabric taut. But as it's going through the wind and there's a lot of pressure passing over it, it makes this fabric flap like right here. I really love the sound of it. It sounds like it's got a motor, like an airplane buzzing by kind of. And each one has a different sound. I really like to use a tail. I took the tail off right now, but usually I have a 250-foot tail that I fly on the back of this. And you can really get a lot of rotations, you know, and it makes a good visual effect for the people to see.
For many of us, flying a kite is really nothing new. But believe it or not, there's now a generation in which this whole kite flying thing is new. Well, Chris, I can't believe you've never flown a kite before. What's up with that?
Well, it's just because we never really got one before, so thought we'd try it out.
Well, what'd you think?
It was pretty fun.
It takes a little practice, but it's easy to get the hang of it.
Yeah, when the wind's blowing.
Yeah, when the wind's blowing,
Yeah.
That's right.
Fell down a couple times.
You got your technique down?
I think you're just supposed to like run with it a little bit and pull on it.
Mm-hmm.
Not really sure though.
Yeah, that's about it. And so you think you might pick this up as a, you know, as a hobby?
I don't know, I might try it out again sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get you one of those big Delta kites, huh?
Oh yeah.
Or one that does tricks with 2 lines. That's where you get into
the fancier ones?
Yeah. That'll get you hooked for sure.
Yeah.
And if you're ready for a revolution, there's a kite out there just for you. If there are smartphones, then why not smart kites?
The kite has the ability to stop, and and go backwards. That's what makes the kite unique. The inventor is
you, right? You wish you were the inventor.
Yeah, Mr. Hadziki, Joe Hadziki, and he's from San Diego area.
That's a good kite flying area.
Oh, the beach out there, and then that's where he was at when he invented the kite. And he was out there one day, and he'd been working on the kite, and he flew it straight up, and then he flew it straight back down, and it stopped. And he said, what happened? And then he realized that it was the kite, and it wasn't something so much that it wasn't the wind. It's the fact that he actually controlled the kite, and he made it stop, and he knew right then he had the maneuverability, because he based the wing on an airplane wing. So that's how he can get the maneuverability out of it. And so, interesting fact that they're not a real large company, but they sell kites all over the world. They're in Europe, Japan, they sell kites to China. It's phenomenal where they're Sweden, the kites are just tremendous. Australia, there's a big following. So that's the thing about it, is they have a huge following all over the United States. But kites is just not a mainstream thing. We grew up with kites when we were younger. The younger generation did. But today, I don't think the children realize that the kite is still alive and well, and that's what's unique about
And that's
this.
too bad. It's the kids, I guess there's too many other things that they occupy themselves with or get into trouble. And like you said, this is a really neat therapeutic sport.
Yeah, the amazing thing about it is I don't watch what I eat, but when I started flying this kite, I lost 10 pounds in the first 2 months, and it was a good thing. And so it just got me back outside. It made my mind work to keep it involved in the flying of the kite and learning how to fly the kite. And so it's just amazing. And then it's like today, there's lots of things on YouTube, and so I taught myself through what I saw on YouTube. So I took the modern technology that the kids are thriving on today, and I made that a part of how I learned how to fly the kite and do everything, because the simplicity of the kite was what amazed me too. The gentleman that designed it was truly a genius, because he made it where I can take it down in less than 10 minutes and have it flying in less than 10 minutes on any average day there. So that's what makes the kite so nice.
This particular kite can also be not so nice, say when getting into a dogfight with a pterodactyl. Terry Rankin has also trained his kite to paint. And last but not least, there's also kiteboarding, when of course the wind is cooperating. Radical, man, radical. It looks man-made, but it's not, and thus the name Natural Dam Falls. Spanning nearly 200 feet across the width of Mountain Fork Creek, this entire area is quite picturesque to say the least. And it's also an official recreation area in the Ozark National Forest. Natural Dam Falls is a real easy location to get to. From Interstate 40 at Van Buren, take Highway 59 north for 15 miles to the community of Natural Dam. Turn left at the county road there, and after about 1/8 of a mile or so, you'll see the falls off to your right. Observation of these falls can be done right from your vehicle, but getting out and doing some exploring is even better. Natural Dam is just what the name says. Although it may look man-made, the rock ledge is all natural, spanning the entire width of Mountain Fork Creek. A little history of this area. One of the first settlers by the name of William Larimore built a grist mill here in 1819, and other pioneers eventually settled as well. Larimore then established a church camp, and families from a 50-mile radius would gather for week-long camp meeting revivals. By 1838, a store and a post office opened. Natural Dam Falls presents a perfect location for a picnic or just taking pictures or videos. You can also drive farther along on the road that crosses the creek and up to the top of the hill, where eventually you'll come to an overlook off to your left. This is also another spot where you can spend some time and just enjoy the area's scenic beauty. While out and about in the woods, some of you may have stumbled upon some of these odd-looking shaped trees and wondered, now, what the heck is this all about? Well, they're referred to as Indian trail trees, and one part of the state where you can see quite a few of these is at Hobbs State Park near Rogers. Now, there are those who say that these trees, some dating back to the 1700s, are just naturally occurring misfits of nature, but others have quite a different theory.
Well, they think that the human hand made this shape, and the two 45-degree angles is one of the main clues that they think that it's made by human hands, possibly by the early Native Americans, rather than nature, which would, knock trees down and make a similar shape. These angles are quite pronounced, and it's a white oak tree, which is most often used for these trees. Theory is that when this was a small sapling, just so big around that they would bend the tree over and make the top point in the direction that they wanted to travel, or the direction that they wanted to call attention to a feature like a spring or a river crossing or shelter, cave, a village. Could have been anything. This is part of the mystery of these trees. And so people are still visiting with tribal elders, researching old documents. This is an ongoing study to try to uncover the mystery of the trees.
And these you mentioned and can be found or have been found in like 40 states.
Oh yes, yes. And I believe to date there's over 2,000 of these trees in the database for the Mountain Stewards organization that is one of the most prominent groups in the country. So the group is appealing to the public to send in a picture and some information about your tree if you have one like this on your property. You know, take your compass and see what the angle is that the nose is pointing. Take the diameter measurement about 1 foot high from the trunk, and they'd like to see it around at least 20 inches, 1 foot high from the trunk, and record your GPS coordinate for the location, take a picture of it, and get on the website for Mountain Stewards or Indian Trail Tree Project, and you can get information on how to get your tree in the database. Hobbs Park here has 21 trees listed in the national database. So we have people that know about the group from the Civil War that thought these were treasure marker trees. We had one fellow called in and wanted to cut the park in 10% on the treasure that he might find. Well, we can't allow that, and these are not related to treasures, and if they were, it's state park and people are not supposed to be digging or hunting for treasure. Our treasure is the historic significance of the Native Americans' way of navigating in the forest. It's their highway signs. And of course, you know, the white men learned about that, and so it's possible for a tree not to be a couple of 100 years old, but it was maybe made by the white man who learned the Indians' way. This park has over 100 ridges, 1/4 of a mile long, and they all look alike. So if you're out here and it's new to you, you'd appreciate having a sign like this to guide you along the trail or off the trail especially. And so that's the way the Indian used these markers. The Cherokee called them day stars, so they could navigate. It's like our highway signs. This country used to be forested from, you know, from the Mississippi clear to the East Coast, and these trees played a big part in the development, you know, of our country. And so we feel that it's important for people to save these trees from destruction so that you're saving a piece of American history. And they're disappearing because they're growing old, they're dying. People don't know about them and they cut them down. They were obviously not used for lumber or timber because of their crookedness, but I have seen people use them for mailboxes, you know, cut them off. So, you know, we're asking our viewers to check their property. If they've got a bent tree or a signal tree, a thong tree, whatever you want to call it, we at the park will help you check it out. Or you can go to the website, Native American or Indian Signal Trees, or Mountain Stewards website, and get a lot of information on how to get your tree included in the national database.
In essence, they're artifacts.
they're living artifacts, they're living history, yes. And we think it's very important that we try to preserve them.
The Indian trail trees at Hobbs State Park can be found on just about any one of the half-dozen trails. Looks like this one is all knotted up.
It sure is. There's 2 rows of 4 knots parallel. Highly unlikely that nature would do that. I have read that these knobs could have been made by the Indians to communicate something. It's a mystery what that communication was, but I read that they would cut a slit in the bark and pack some moss or charcoal in there and then put some mud over that. The tree then would secrete the woody material to make the knots. And I've never seen one just like this out of the 30 or more that I've seen here at the park. So to the best of my knowledge, which is not very much, I have to assume that it's a secret code that the Native Americans used to explain something. The direction of the tree is pointing down this hollow toward War Eagle Creek. And so you can see, I don't know if you noticed coming down, looks like an old logging road right there before we get up to the more modern road. So that could have been an old-time trail of some kind right there. But this and another small tree back here both seem to point down towards the War Eagle Creek.
Al Knox demonstrated for us how trail trees might have been shaped, utilizing in most cases a white oak sapling.
So they would use a forked stick, possibly bend it over like this, so that you could get a nice parallel to the ground bend like this. Then they would move over here, leaving that stick in, and bring another stick and pin the tree down to the ground. Sometimes they would cut the nose right here, cut this off. Sometimes they would leave it, and then the idea was that this sapling would grow either a new shoot like this, or if they cut it off, a new shoot like this little one here might grow. And then they would cut all these off along here and let one shoot grow up, which would look like this, but it would come out of right here. So that would hold the basic shape of 2 45-degree angles, in which that would be a clue to man-made versus nature if you had the sharp 45-degree angle here and back here.
So the next time you're out in the woods and you spot one of these trees, you too can use it for your benefit, knowing that it's possibly pointing the way to water and/or shelter. So head out on the trail at Arkansas's largest state park, Hobbs, and explore for yourself the mystery behind all the Native American trail trees. And for more on this destination, plus many of our others, or to order a DVD of an episode, visit our brand new and expanded website at atn.org/exploring-Arkansas. And we'll see you again the next time for another exciting adventure on Exploring Arkansas.